My name is Simon Blackwood, and I have been a detective for more than 30 years. And I'm thrilled to have you join me on this journey into the world of horror. I've always been fascinated by the supernatural and the unknown and the world of crime. Now let's start our story for today. Today I will talk about the old mansion on the hill had always been a source of fascination for the locals. This palace that was like a legend to me when I was a child, it was said to have been built by a wealthy family, but no one had lived there for years. The gates were rusted shut, and the grounds had grown wild and overgrown. But that didn't stop a group of friends from deciding to explore the mansion one Halloween night. The group consisted of 4 teenagers, 2 boys, and 2 girls. There was Ben, the brave one who always wanted to be the leader; Sarah, the shy and quiet one; Alex, the joker of the group who always tried to lighten the mood; and Emily, the brains of the group who always had a plan. They had been planning the adventure for weeks, and finally, the night had come. The mansion loomed over them as they approached the gates. Ben tried to push them open, but they wouldn't budge. They were about to give up when they noticed a small opening in the fence. It was just big enough for them to squeeze through, and they decided to take their chances. As they walked up the overgrown driveway, they couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. The mansion seemed to be watching them, and the trees cast eerie shadows on the walls. But they were determined to explore every corner of the mansion, no matter how scared they were. The front door was locked, but Emily had come prepared with a set of lockpicks. It didn't take her long to get the door open, and they stepped inside. The foyer was grand, with a sweeping staircase leading up to the 2nd floor. The air was musty and stale, and there was a thick layer of dust on everything. As they explored the mansion, they discovered that it was filled with old furniture and antiques. But there was something off about the place. It was as if the mansion was alive, and it didn't want them there. They heard strange noises coming from the walls and the floors, and they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. As they made their way up to the 2nd floor, they heard a blood-curdling scream. It was coming from one of the rooms, and they rushed to investigate. When they entered the room, they saw a very large group of ants gathered around something, to the extent that it was covered with ants and could not be seen. And when they seemed to get closer and closer, they saw eyes in their midst of the ants looking at them. So the friends rushed to escape from the room, and if they were in a corridor, they saw a little girl carrying a balloon. She told them, "Come to me," so the friends went to see her, and if her eyes shone red and she said, "Let's start playing." Then suddenly it became opening and closing, and some candles lit up as if there was a black cloud that came behind her and a demon's face appeared in it. Ben said to the friends, "Run after me." The friends ran after him and entered the room. Sarah was starting and fear filled her face. Alex tried to calm the group. Emily called 911 and asked for help, but suddenly inside the room, they found on limbs strange a box a clown jumped out of on a shelf, with chip paint and missing. But it was the clown eyes that caught their attention. They seemed to follow them around the room, and they couldn't look away. They heard a noise behind them. When they turned around, they saw that the door had slammed shut. They were trapped in the room with the clown, and they couldn't get out. That's when they noticed that the doll's eyes had turned red, and it was staring directly at them. They tried to force the door open, but it wouldn't budge. And that's when they heard scratching coming from the other side of the door. It sounded like something was trying to get in. They huddled together, trying to stay calm, but they knew that they were in grave danger. As they waited for help to arrive, they heard the scratching getting louder and more frenzied. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, it stopped. They were left in silence, waiting for something to happen. But nothing did. When the rescue team finally arrived, they found a group of teenagers huddled together in the room with the doll. They were pale and shaken, but they were alive. The mansion had claimed another victim, but this time it had spared their lives. The group couldn't help but feel a sense of relief and gratitude that they had made it out alive. They realized that their curiosity and desire for adventure had led them down a dangerous path, and they had been lucky to escape with their lives. As they walked away from the mansion, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them from the shadows. They turned around, but there was no one there. The mansion stood tall and dark against the moonlit sky, a reminder of the horrors they had just experienced. The group of friends made a pact that they would never speak of that night again. They knew that it was a memory that would haunt them forever, and they didn't want to relive it. But they also knew that the mansion on the hill would continue to be a source of fascination and fear for generations to come. Years later, the mansion would still stand, abandoned and forgotten, a relic of a time gone by. And I still remember the legend of the group of teenagers who had braved its halls on a Halloween night would live on, a cautionary tale of the dangers forever. Thank you for watching my channel and joining me every week for new and exciting stories. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button to stay updated on future tales.